not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry, so honored and humbled to have you here today with us on Free for All Friday, otherwise known as Day 7 of Whoopi Goldberg's suspension from The View.
I like that.
For those of you who are counting. And it's also the day that I get to have the joy and the privilege of having my beautiful wife, Kimberly Autry, here.
Thank you for having me.
And amen to that. And the one and only Mr. Guillermo Moreno, Mr. Willie Brown. Translate that.
In the flesh.
In
not
the flesh,
not Kamala's Willie Brown, but the other Willie Brown.
And I tell you, we're so honored to have Jose Guillermo, because I tell you, he's...
we have Jose, too.
We got Jose.
Yeah, we got Jose's.
Jose, can you see? How many times you've been told that? About 9,995 times in your life? Yeah.
So if the left is listening, we are diverse.
We're diverse.
Yeah.
But we don't we don't have equity here.
We don't. Well, we're more
equal opportunity, but no equity.
That's true. And we're more diverse than NFL.
Otherwise, you would have to give me about 1,000 more of your listeners and viewers, because you have 1,000 more than me. So you got to give me 500.
That's
so
true.
we'll both have the same amount of viewers and listeners.
Hey, that's
equity.
Yeah. We'll force them to listen.
You'll force them to listen. They'll love every single second of it.
Amen.
But I tell you, Guillermo, we're so... sorry about yesterday. We didn't go live. It was a rerun. And I know sometimes it's difficult to put up with me live, but to have a rerun, I get it. I understand. But those of you faithful who tuned in via the radio, appreciate it. Oh, gosh, I just opened me up.
Rerun household.
For harpoons. All right. I'm like that. I'm not a talk show host, man. I'm a human pinata. Just have at it. Get it over with.
Yeah, Fridays, you have
we get on the show.
You have no control.
No control, baby. Anyway, we are live now, and it's so great to have, excuse me, Guillermo Moreno here, because the dude's busy. I mean, I've been around busy people. I've been around people that are multitaskers, but not to the level. This guy is the Tom Brady of multitasking. Yeah. The guy is, and he just came in. I get the message coming in. I'm going to do the show. I'm coming in hot. Slides in here, then cool as a cucumber. Like he's just been here the whole time, prepping and everything. And when you can make time for us on this simple little Alan Autry show.
Oh, come on.
We are so thankful. So now, see, you got your Michigan State. This is Free for All Friday. When everything pops in my head, I'm going to go with. Do you know the fight song?
Well, yeah. Where?
To Michigan State. You're on. Do you know the fight
I thought
song?
you said the fight is on.
No, the fight.
And I'm like, well, yeah, where? I mean, it's everywhere. You can politics, not in politics.
Just as COVID away, we're going to have war in Ukraine in 48 hours. Will it ever get a little rest?
You go shopping, you're in for a fight too these days, apparently. You can lock your cars, hide your wives.
I'm reminded of another Willie Brown. Not the Willie Brown. Go to malls. Not the Willie Brown that you don't go to malls. What? Yeah. What's that on the credit card that comes home?
It's called small store.
Oh, that's true. You do support small business in Fresno. Man, Clovis. You support small business here in Fresno and Clovis. Yeah. No, but Willie Brown, not the Willie Brown that used to be the mayor.
Fresno, for sure.
Not Willie Brown Guillermo, but Willie Brown, who had the little convenience store outside of Fresno, a little place called Lanier. And we used to go in there and say hey to Willie, great guy. But Willie would expound from time to time on world affairs. And one of the things he would say often It's a Carlos, come here. He goes, I got to ask you something. How long? Would you tell me how long can this BS go on? Of course, he said the full word. I said, I don't know, Willie. It's good to say, all right, now, you go. I don't want to see you over there in Vietnam now. I was like 17 at the time. I ain't going, Willie. Well, you don't go to Canada either. I said, well, Willie, what am I supposed to do? He goes, hell, I don't know. You figure it out. That was the words of wisdom.
Wise words.
Of the other Willie Brown. Probably, well, a very wise Willie Brown. All right, give me the fight song.
Oh, man.
Come on.
I'm not sure. I can hum it. Da, 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 da. Go green, and then da, 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 da.
That could be any fight song in America.
And then it goes green. Dun, dun, dun. That's all I know.
And then there's a white that comes after, right?
A white? Yes, there is.
Yeah. Now, did you, before we move on, because it's sports. Oh, yeah, you were. Kim was a cheerleader at University of Arkansas.
What fight song is that?
Okay, Razorbacks.
Oh.
They can't hear. You got to speak right into that mic.
Razorbacks. It's a Razorbacks.
People have to hear this.
It's like,
give us a
Suey, go, Hogs, go, Razorback.
Really?
That's what she says at the house, but she wants me to come in and fix dinner.
Everybody does their feet on the stands, and all you hear is like this.
Yeah.
Louder and louder and louder, and these Hogs go, man.
Here it is.
That's mine. Yeah. Victory for MSU. Da, da, da. I know the rest of it. Yeah. And then watch, it'll say, "Go green." Watch. Eventually.
And then don't they go white too?
Yeah. Only when the national rhetoric is not as bad, because you say "Go white."
All right.
That can really.
Well, one more question on
Spark.
Michigan State. It is Free for All Friday. Please forgive me, folks. We get into subjects that just whatever pops in your head. Phone lines open, 559-899-1550. KXEX Talk Radio, AM Radio, best talk in town. Call in, let us, whatever. Just don't cuss or say you don't like my show.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't take that. I'm a sensitive male.
That's like cussing right there.
My masculinity is under attack.
He's not sensitive.
But one last question. Were you happy or sad or don't really give a rat's behind about Harbaugh's decision to stay at Michigan, your nemesis over there?
Well, listen, I mean, I follow the science and the facts, all right, clearly. And the facts have been that Harbaugh has never beat Michigan State. So how can I be afraid of a virus? I mean, how can I be afraid of a coach that has never defeated Go Green? So, it's like
you make a good point. That was news to me. That
it is what it is.
It is, I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
It's like me masking up.
All right, let's go. Let's get this out of the way, and then the Super Bowl coming up day after tomorrow. Who are you picking, Kim? Bengals and Rams. Who are you going with?
I mean, you already told me I had to pick Rams because you played for them.
Okay. Come on, you were supposed to keep that secret. Okay, go ahead.
No, and
dominant, toxic, masculine man controlling his wife. Yeah, try to control
You're
her.
why Hillary lost then.
Exactly. Right, man.
I have stories that would make you.
We're a family show.
Of Hillary?
Show.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, kind of both.
Oh, I don't want you to disappear.
Yeah.
So
she used to go out with Roger Clinton. You know that?
I did not know that.
Oh
Yes.
my God. Okay.
You've got some great stories, Clinton stories.
I was in a dance. I was dancing.
Now keep this
dancer, and
keep this PG.
He played. No, he played a club called The Afterthought, and I met Roger. But we were really more friends. But we went out. We were more friends. But and Billy,
you told me.
We call it Billy.
I'm just not saying nothing here.
When you hear that as a guy, you go, yeah,
we would
right.
literally,
You had to qualify it.
Yeah.
We would give Billy rides home.
Billy.
Bill to ride home.
Just a friend. We call him Billy.
But that was his brother to the downtown where they lived.
Yeah.
So.
How was Billy in the car? Is he pretty?
He was never awake.
Okay. All right. Well.
Are we home yet?
No, he was never awake. Now I'd show up the next day, and my dad would do these huge fundraiser at. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the lake. And he and Bill would show up the very next day at the fundraiser. Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Well, let me ask you this. Since we're on the set of Bill Clinton, why is all of a sudden
nice guy
Bill Clinton seem less liberal than when he was president?
Yeah.
Is it this woke far left has gone so far to the left that you got people like Bill Clinton, back to Tip O'Neill, all of that seem almost conservative.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Different time. It's different time. What surprises me is that, I think people would really rally around Bill and Brock if they came out and said, hey, guys, look, let's just be very clear. There's different flavors of liberalism because right now,
for sure,
everyone's embracing the progressive left.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Bill Clinton hit that mic and said, now, let me tell you. I can't do it. But,
Well, he
was so young when he was governor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so weird to think of him at his age now because back then I didn't really, I knew him through my dad, through politics, then I knew him through his brother, which we never hung out with him and Hillary ever. We just would be there for his brotherly duties.
Yeah.
And but he was just a cool, they were just a cool family. Arkansas, he played an instrument and all the clubs down there, and it was cool.
But didn't James Carville come out the other day, his top advisor, and pretty much said to the woke left, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Y'all are worried about this far left, this woke stuff. It's going to kill you. You're going to get killed in the midterms. What are you talking about? You all got to stop with this foolishness. I mean, he really laid it out there, and I would tend to think that's probably like Bill Clinton, people like that think. The used to be the status quo is just being pushed out. So I don't know if they're embracing the far left, woke left, or is folks like Biden and Pelosi just for some reason scared to death of them?
I think, because
about the protest.
Why do you think they're scared to death of them?
Well, I don't know.
I do.
I think it's the
right
tag,
now, but I know why.
I think if they stood up to them like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema did, they would invigorate the Democratic Party, and the midterms would look a lot different than they're going to look.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think the far left really intimidates people because, look, they've brought down entire American industries to their knees. You look at the NFL, you look at, Oracle, you look at what other businesses, Pepsi, you look at all these big American giants that now are saying, oh, no, we agree. So, of course, you got Nancy Pelosi and the left pretty much running in their boots because just how powerful they are and what they can do to people. And in this day and age with social media, anyone can get canceled with a moment's notice. So they have that trump card over Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. And then let's also be real. Their portfolios, their investment portfolios, they know they make a wrong move, they can easily be vilified and on the outside looking in.
Well, yeah. Even though, Bill, it was always known, as a really hip, cool dude. Everybody loved him.
Mm-hmm. Played the saxophone, wore sunglasses.
But yeah, but everyone loved him, he was just a cool guy, they liked to hang out with him. They loved him. And you got Biden and Kamala, and it's just like, it doesn't work. It's so bad. It's like watching a really bad rerun.
And you see folks like Bakari Sellers, very intelligent man, very well educated, very articulate. But you see him and many like him on CNN and some of the other outlets, and they really have this look of confusion and amazement, right? And they're urging Joe Biden. Joe Biden has to get out and explain to people his policies. And if you would just get out and explain to people, they call it messaging. Mm-hmm. The messaging is totally missing, as if you could get out there and have an articulation or a message that would make people believe that paying twice what you paid for something a month ago is good for them. That you could say, hey, this is the way to withdraw from a country that you've been there for 20 years, like Afghanistan, and say, well, I know what you're seeing on the border, 1 million people coming in undocumented, we don't know who the hell they are, is let me explain to you why that's good for you individually and America as a whole. Do they see that? These intelligent people, you're going, how can you sell something that nobody's buying?
You know what? It's like on The View. They go, what'd she say? Joyce, a co-host, the Hispanic Spanish girl.
Oh, yeah. The fake Republican. Yeah, Anna Navarro.
Oh,
Anna Navarro.
She could be mean.
Anna Navarro.
I would want Anna. I wouldn't have heard
I think it was her. I would rather die, I think she said, in the desert or die of thirst than drink out of a cup or anything that had Trump's name on it. And I said,
No.
I'm thinking, girl, really? Give us a cup you'll drink.
That's what's called
yeah. What cup
Trump
would
derangement syndrome right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it comes
They're
from.
starting to admit too that the bad job and what he's gone up against. They're starting to back down a little bit because you know what Trump's approval rate is right now. It's like 78%. They're
Yeah, it's
freaking
huge.
out 78%.
And then you see the latest poll.
Oh my God.
I think it was a CNN poll. Don't take me, don't hold me to that gospel. It was from a reputable poll from the left, CBS poll, that had 37%, only 37% approval rating on Joe Biden on anything. 56% disapprove on every single thing he's done. That's astonishing. That didn't even happen during the Trump.
I was going to say, that hasn't happened in a while.
Well, I don't think it's ever happened.
Wow.
Because you have a lot of Democrats at 50, they're not giving him credit for even on the infrastructure bill, on getting vaccine in arms, all this stuff that they've tried to spin into something positive that he's accomplished. They're not even giving him credit for that. It's
Trump,
every single thing, which harkens back to what Barack Obama said. Don't ever underestimate the ability to Joe Biden to, up.
That just has fear written all over it. Smell of fear. He's so fearful of Trump. He's so fearful of losing office, somebody coming out and exploding him. And Kamala, that's just fear. They can't admit anything because they don't have anything good.
Are you talking about
them.
the car sellers? That message?
Yeah.
I agree with you. Go.
Well, I got 2 points. And the first one was I thought about this inflation question and just how bad America is doing in the economy. And we're at like 7.4%.
Oh.
We haven't seen inflation like this in a long time. And then I sat there and said, okay, how are they going to spin this? Because anything is spinnable. You're in politics for a long time. And you could spin anything. The issue with the inflation, I thought to myself, is can the left spin this? Oh, you better well bet they can, and they can spin it this way. And this is why the progressives and liberalism has such a stronghold, because they're going to say, yeah, inflation might be where it's at, but listen, folks, what we did during COVID is we spent a lot of money in those underserved communities. We're now bringing equity up, and we're now making sure that those people that maybe not have they haven't been at the top of corporate America, we're just leveling the playing field. So this actually is not inflation. This is America moving forward. This is America making the investment in the people in the communities that haven't had this investment. So are you against these communities that haven't had this human infrastructure? That's what this inflation is really about. And then I thought to myself, and that's how they're going to spin it, because that's my first point. My second point is, becoming president or becoming a leader of anything isn't easy. I mean, former mayor, you have to have some leadership capabilities. And I think we're seeing that Joe Biden might have been in the Senate forever. Kamala Harris was wherever she was. But these two people, and it goes back to your comment, like, hey, Bill was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. These two that are the head of the executive branches are not people you would even want to hang out with.
No.
And let alone any type of leadership qualities. Trump, yeah, he was brass. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to hang out with him in a bar or in a locker room. But, he was a businessman. He knew how
You could learn something.
He knew how to lead. I mean, he knew.
I agree.
Hey, he knew how to read budget. And he knew, and he got it.
Good business.
I think you're absolutely 100% correct on what the Democrats are going to try to do. That spin that you articulated is the only place for them to go.
I was believing it myself when I was saying it.
I wouldn't even pay I would not want to hang out with them for a minute. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to even go to lunch and have what they have to say, hear what they have to say.
Oh, they eat pretty good in the White House.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they do. Let me tell you. Let me pull back let me pull back the curtain here and tell you how boring. And this is not. I'm not making fun of Kamala. All right. They interviewed Dougie, the first gentleman. No, he's the second gentleman.
They took him off the stage. at a high school. Bomb threat.
Oh, did they?
Go ahead, yeah. Forget the kids.
Yeah.
They got Doug out of
We
there.
gotta get him and Stacey Abrams for she can wear. So he had given an interview. I think it was to Axios, and he had said, I come home and Kamala and I have had a long day. I'm out there connecting with the American people. Who knows where Kamala's at? Because she's obviously not connecting. And he says, our dinners are very simple. We chat back and forth about our day. And he goes, the most of the night we just can't figure out what Netflix show to finally end up on. So we're just for some time just clicking Netflix, and then before you know it, we got to go to bed because we have a long day tomorrow, and that's it.
When did he say this?
This was about about a month ago, and I thought to myself,
God, are you
okay,
politically tone deaf?
I know where
you're
you're going
with
train
this.
up.
I know. You go on. Get after
You're
it.
telling me that you sit down with the second most powerful person in the United States. She's got nothing to tell you.
On the verge of war in the Ukraine.
On the verge of war. We got crisis everywhere. You're eating a government-sponsored meal by waiters,
watching Frankie and Johnny on Netflix.
Yeah, and not only are you watching Netflix, but you can't even make a decision on what Netflix show
that's
to watch.
If we were in that position, we would probably
so
be
funny.
yelling, strangling each other. The police would be there.
But you would find a show, right?
We would be in political battle.
It's just politically tone deaf.
Something that would prove our point to each other.
I just think the people, though, I hear what you're saying. I don't think they're going to buy that spin. There's an old saying, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. And tell me it's raining.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
hate that.
And history has proven this out time and time again, at least in America. And if you look around the world at rebellions, at uprisings, at true insurrections, it had to do with economics. People didn't have enough to eat. People didn't have enough of the stuff they needed to have a life that they wanted. And when your check is being eaten up at the rate it is by inflation, and Joe Biden just yesterday with Lester Holt, to his credit, went after him and said, what are you going to do about inflation? What is it? He goes, how long is it going to be here? And Joe Biden says, well, I've had 14 Nobel laureates and several corporate CEOs tell me that it should be gone by the late this year. So you don't note any noted economist. You don't source a noted economist of any kind. What type of Nobel laureates are you talking about? And this is the kind of stuff, and even Lester kind of went, he goes, where do I go with this?
Okay, that's
Let's
kind
take
of
a quick break. Hold that thought, because we're late on the commercial break. We got to pay some bills here. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. When we come back, we're going to pick it up where Kim left off. She's got something important to say. I can tell.
Sure do.
Alan Autry, No Retreat, Free for All Friday, KXEX 1550, best talk in town. We'll be
And
right
hey,
back.
movie boy.
I like that. No, you talk about, what do we call it, Steve Cloud, China boy?
You can't say that. Alan.
Hold on, wait. I got a text. I don't know who it's from.
It's from Matthew. He sent us some pictures from the speaking that you did at that place. If you want to talk about it,
Matthew, who? What now?
Matthew White.
But this one says
spoke where now?
You had an event with him with Turning Point.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
with the kids.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I don't know what the bite is. We'll just kind of stay. Maybe we hit it Monday.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
No, but there's another text message. I don't know what it means. Something about Brooke Shields.
Oh, Brooke Shields
yeah,
is
you're gonna
the
get
new
Brooke.
face for Jordache Jeans.
Oh.
And she is
Forget
like
about
she's
that.
my age group. And what's so cool is that she is coming back she broke her femur.
Ooh.
And she thought she was gonna be paralyzed, had to learn how to walk all
my gosh.
over again. And she is in the gym. She looks fantastic, and she's the
56
new body.
years old.
No
new
way.
body
That's the big
face.
thing.
So she's
That's
not
the big story.
She's not the new model for the Jordans.
For
Jordache.
Jordache.
Oh, because
But
the
I
text
put-
says Brooke Shields is the new in-body face for Jordans.
Oh, I was
Man,
trying to
is it
hurry
hot
because
in
we
here?
were going
Is it
on
hot in
air.
here? Is it hot in here? Do you guys?
It is hot.
You got the air?
So hey, are they? So the air here pulls in the outside air.
Oh, we'll be.
We haven't switched to the new system.
We'll be.
So yeah.
Get back in.
Well, usually when it was freezing in here, he had the air conditioner on. I'm like,
Yeah. So you have two options here. You either tap into like their central system or you get the outside air, because these aren't set up for like individual meters or thermostats.
Okay.
So we opt for the outside air because then the in the winter, it's so hot in here that we need to get some AC. And now now's this transitional time where it's just hot.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And you pull in hot.
Yeah, I'll get a little short sleevers going here.
Oh, I know. I was.
But yeah, I mean.
Oh, yeah, you got to be part of it.
I got long sleeve and long sleeve.
But yeah, I mean, Whoopi's still
Actually,
kind
might change, yeah.
How much, Jose?
About a minute and 10.
Gotcha.
And we have phone call.
I do.
Putin is not getting paid great. They're up there going, White House is telling everybody evacuate the next 24 to 48 hours. He's so much more smarter than you guys. Goodness gracious.
They need a distraction.
Oh, gosh, it's over.
They need a distraction. You ever watch the movie Wag the Dog?
Have not. Do you recommend it?
It's good. Yeah.
Is it a political theme deal?
Yeah, they stage a fake war.
Oh, do they?
Everything.
All right, we come back. Did you want to
5 seconds?
let's do the thing on?
Yeah, I was just talking about Whoopi.
Let's do a little.
You got
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat. It's Free for All Friday. Don't expect any rhyme or reason to anything. Anything's on the table, but we're having fun. I'll tell you that. Kim, before we go to Laura on the line there, you had something very interesting. When you first told me, I was seemed kind of innocuous to me, with Brooke Shields, who back in the day for guys like our old guys, she was, I think, what was it called? Pretty Baby or something. She burst on the scene as like a 13-year-old movie star.
Blue Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon. That was it. And became kind of like a Bo Derek type thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a cultural phenomenon.
I don't know what any of these things are.
Yeah, I know. You don't. You're 30.
I know who Brooke Shields is.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Tell us the latest
that was
on
her
Brooke.
first movie she did. And she was like 13.
Because it's Free for All Friday, I feel like something uplifting and a little profile and courage, because what this young lady is doing,
really
I think,
cool
is a profile and courage.
Is
Go ahead.
because Brooke Shields, I mean, I guess she broke her femur falling off something
in the gym. But a really bad, not your average femur, broken leg.
It was really bad.
Places.
She couldn't walk. They thought she was paralyzed. And so she had to learn how to walk over again. And I can relate to that, you know.
Mm-hmm. You've had some injuries.
And I've had some injuries and still dealing with some health stuff. So I know what it's like to try to battle back. And it's not easy. It's just not easy. And it showed clips of her. And I think she's in New York. But, in the side street with her trainer trying to,
rehabbing
and coming back. And so, and she looks great. And she, and it came out that she is the new body and face for Jordache jeans.
That's great for Jordache would do that. How old is she?
She's 56.
56 years old.
And she said, I don't want, and what I love too, also, I mean, that's my age group. And what I love around my age group, but what I love about her is she wanted no touch-ups. And
she wanted to be natural.
Nothing, no, on her face, her body, nothing. It's all natural. And she's worked very hard to get where she is, and got rewarded for that.
Way to go, Jordache. When you look at her,
she looks beautiful.
Brooke,
she looks better than most young girls.
But usually they're looking, those corporations are looking for the flavor of the month. Who's the new YouTuber? YouTuber? Who's the top rapper?
We're coming out. Those YouTubers are like a lot of them.
And you
are like the Christian girl who that was doing all this fitness and stuff, and she I can't remember her name, but I shouldn't mention if I don't know her name. But just got busted big time for using people and taking their money and not giving what she said she was going to give them. And
but what happened was Jordache didn't go with that personality.
No.
They went with someone who, if you looked at it, would say, Kim, right, kind of washed up in terms of being brutally honest in society. in terms of, Guillermo didn't even know who she was.
He knows who she is.
Well, he sort of.
He didn't know
you hear the name.
No, Ellen, he didn't know the movie.
Okay.
I just think of her as Andre Agassi's like ex.
Okay, exactly.
But she's pretty.
Yeah, but to have them say, "Hey,"
most young girls don't even. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's very few out there that are in their 20s that look as good as her.
Yeah, well, I think that's great that Jordache, 56 years old, not really on the top of the list in terms of quote marketable.
I didn't know they still make jeans.
Obviously, she's gonna.
Obviously, Guillermo.
Yeah, we're trying to have a feel-good story here, and you're taking us down the wrong.
You know what?
Oh, who cares? She's on Jordache. Nobody wears those anyway.
No,
56 years old, broke her leg. So what?
Great story.
That's what Guess did. They got the famous model, and she came back and made them a fortune.
Really?
So Jordache.
Really?
Yes. Huh. I mean, Brooke will probably bring them back in. I'll make a fortune because the pictures are a little provocative but beautiful. And
not that I'm gonna go look as soon as she said provocative.
Well, you were on that phone so fast.
That was bad timing.
I would love to do something like that.
Oh no, you will not.
If I live long enough, I will.
Oh, you can do whatever you want to. I don't. This person is like Lucy. Ricky does not control her. Didn't control her at all. God,
let me look at these pictures. All
right,
I'll be busy over here.
While you're looking up pictures.
The one where her hands and it's in her back, and it's a back picture. It's beautiful.
I want to get this in before we go to the impending war in the Ukraine. By the way, we might all blow up in about 3 weeks.
Well, hold on, Alan.
Hold on, did you find it?
Yeah, Brooke.
She looks better than most 20-year-olds.
Well, we forgot to mention one very
maybe
important.
Jose could find it.
Well, we failed to mention that she's topless.
Yeah.
What? I can't watch it. My eyes can't.
You
gotta look at that.
So when you said provocative,
slightly provocative.
But I mean, she's topless.
It's beautiful.
It's out there.
I love it.
Brooke Shields 56 poses topless for Jordache jeans.
Gosh.
It's beautiful.
I just didn't know.
See what can of worms I opened up here. I don't. Okay, Laura, hang on. You're going to come here and save the show.
You can't see anything.
Well, no,
they got it blocked out there.
No, she's back.
It just leaves it to your imagination.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gorgeous.
Well, let's leave this story. You feel good. Way to go, Brooke. Yeah. Great to see you back doing some stuff.
Hey, man, I'm buying those jeans.
I told you.
Laura up there, the Biden and Harris
administration. All the guys are like, I'm putting those on my wife.
I settle. Okay, we're gonna before we talk about this Ukrainian situation, because we got to touch on this.
Why?
If you listen to both Fox and CNN, well, they're getting Americans out of the Ukraine because the White House has said within the next 24, 48 hours the hot war could break out and Americans get killed over there.
While they're up there playing Monopoly.
No, well, Kamala's watching Netflix.
Who knows?
Yeah, better than watching the Hunger Games.
Eating some of that Nancy Pelosi ice cream, But let's go to Laura on the line. Laura, are you there? All right, Laura. Miss Fisher, are you there?
Hi, Laura.
Okay. Okay.
She's Googling the Brooke Shields story.
Okay, we tried. Let's move on. I don't want to have her on a hot mic. She not know it. Yeah. We're going to move on. You never know what's going to happen if they don't know they're on there. The old hot mic. Okay. I want to get to Joe Rogan, whether he should apologize now. So we're going to save some time for that. But I got to say my piece on this thing. Relax out there about the Ukrainian-Russian crisis, that war is going to break out. If you have some relatives that are working in the Ukraine, living in the Ukraine. Now, look, I could be wrong. These things, anything can happen. Putin, rough dude, former KGB guy. I get it. I just don't think the guy's that stupid. Xi Jinping and him just signed an alliance. If something's going to happen, it's not going to happen during the Olympics. And you see this White House come out, Jake Sullivan, Ned Price coming out, telling people in 24 to 48 hours, Guillermo, that you need to get out of there. Same kind of fear tactics that you used with COVID. I'm expecting next on CNN, you're going to have a little ticker over there. So many minutes to launch of nuclear weapons over there in the Ukraine and the fear. I mean, and then they come on there. I heard this fella who's from the State Department. No, wasn't our State Department. He was actually a paid analyst, somebody who should know better, saying that our intelligence is impeccable. Our information is impeccable. Let's go up and blow up the Al Qaeda thing that blew up our soldiers, and it's a little aid. Humanitarian effort. You killed 10 kids and 2 innocent people.
Impeccable.
Based on your impeccable intelligence. But what do you think about this? I look at that and I just say, you wonder, like Kim was saying, you wonder, I think people, why his approval rating is so low. You go from 0 to 100 and telling people that within 24, 48 hours, you're going to have a war in Ukraine. What's your thoughts on that? I just think it's
it's a loose cannon, and really and truly, it makes me feel so insecure. I'm sorry, it just makes me feel
She's passionate about it.
No, it makes me feel insecure, and I cannot handle to feel not solid in somebody that I'm supposed to trust.
Yeah.
It makes me feel that
I think you're not alone.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're just putting yourself out there with someone has no clue what they're doing, and they're just mouthing stuff, and you're supposed to believe them and sit on that. Yeah. Sit on that and spin on it and go another way. Yeah. Give me somebody I can trust.
Yeah, good point.
This is just a big mess, and that's not why you tuned in for me to tell you the obvious thing. I want to add value here in letting you know one big point. Putin was never going to invade. Point in case. Biden screwed up in the press conference, and I want everybody to always remember what the root cause of this was, and that is Biden's big screw up in that press conference, coming out and saying, hey, we can do a minor incursion. I mean, he just spilt the beans. Now,
good point.
So now this administration has to make it look like, hey, Russia was really thinking about it, because now the commander in chief spilt the beans. He can't look stupid. I mean, that's to each his own. But they're doing this because they have to heighten it. They have to make it look like, hey, at the beginning, we knew what we were talking about. The president knew what he was saying in that press conference. Now, Putin's like, well, wait a minute, I wasn't going to invade. Like, I wasn't going to do any of this. And which proves how much he actually probably wasn't even thinking about it. This entire Ukrainian-Russian situation, the Americans have just really, let's back up. Not Americans, because it's not the voters, it's not the citizens, it's not our military. It's Joe Biden and the administration. They have screwed up royally on this one. And then you have the legacy media, which is his press team. I mean, they know they got to come out and save him because he screwed up so bad. So they're like, oh yeah, no, things are going. Let's get the correspondent in Kiev. Let's get this correspondent out there in the woods. You see a Russian, don't you? Because they're in a difficult place, and Putin, he's just having a grand old time over there at the Hunger Games with China. And you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They're enjoying every minute of it.
An absolutely brilliant.
We have an incompetent leader.
Yeah.
And they know that. Xi Jinping,
that's the problem.
Putin,
they know that.
And you know who else knows that? Our allies in Europe. That's why you're not seeing Germany coming out speaking all of this rhetoric. Oh, yeah, they're going to. Yeah. None of these countries, you notice, France is kind of doing, but here's the thing with France. Like I said, in terms of COVID, you follow the science. In world affairs, follow the politics. How these folks do especially when they're behind, when they're not popular, meaning United States presidents that are basically unethical, that will do and say anything to get their approval ratings up. In this case, they create a crisis. They come up with the solution to the crisis. Mm-hmm. Then when the solution is applied and doesn't work, they keep the solution in place and blame it on something else. Why it's not working. The solution is not working, but they keep that solution in there, the troops. So that's what they're doing create a crisis, come up with a solution. We're going to use diplomatic means and the power of sanctions. And then if it works, that's great. They've won. Feather in the cap. He's got a victory.
Yeah.
If not, they just blame it on something else. We keep that in place. Because I tell you right now, Putin and Ping are not going to give this victory to Biden. Who's going to get credit for it is Macron from France.
Yeah.
He's the one that came in that Putin agreed to meet with, not Biden.
Yeah.
France is the biggest communist stronghold in the free world, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to get this to Macron. Trust me, he's going to come back in. Then, Guillermo, Kim, and listeners, if you haven't heard, which I didn't know until today, simultaneously with all this heightened rhetoric in this crisis, Anthony Blinken and the American delegation are meeting over in the Pacific discussing how they're going to deal with China. Now, right on the heels of China, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin having this kumbaya new agreement there, And you can just see, as Kim's saying, they're incompetent. He and Ping and Putin are playing the free world like a fiddle.
Oh, yeah. And then they got a freebie. They got a freebie on this one because this one just landed in their laps.
And your key point of when he said that, people don't realize what that meant. You did. People that know that follow this stuff, a minor incursion we can allow, that opened the floodgates. That gave Putin 5, 10, 15 more options.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he showed his card. He showed his cards. And, who's controlling Biden? It's got to be the Obama people, right? What did Obama let Russia do during his administration?
Well, pretty much anything.
Right?
He let Syria do whatever they wanted to do.
Isn't that when they took over or they
Crimea.
had Crimea, right?
Yeah.
So it could be that the establishment that's controlling Biden is not over that. So now they're saying, hey, we get a second crack at the bat. And that's probably why they kept feeding to Biden like, hey, this is serious, but don't worry, we can handle it. Let's go big on this one because of their minor incursion during our years when we were in charge. Let's show them this time around. I think a lot of this stuff is actually personal. Now, I want to make a correlation here with the Hunger Games. Our athletes showed up to compete, right?
Yeah.
You know who didn't show up? Joe Biden. Because we're looking at the pictures of Xi Jinping and Putin. Joe Biden could have easily gone over there as well and taken that as an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Hey, let me tell you, let me break up the party here. You need to stay in your place and you need to know what boundaries not to cross. And you, Xi Jinping, we got business to handle a little later. That's exactly what Trump would have done. Trump would not have done this diplomatic boycott and not showed up. He would have been over there.
In his face.
Yeah.
He would have gone over there with
absolutely.
Air Force One choppers and everything, made an entrance into the stadium and said, hey, the Americans are in town. Our athletes are going to, by the way, beat all of you because that's the way Trump was. You guys are from all these, nations. We're going to beat all of you. And let me talk to these leaders because I got something to tell them. And when you look at Macron and Putin sitting down, did you see they were at this long buffet table that was like 30 feet long, right? You had Macron on one end, all masked up, and you had Putin just sitting there, no mask, and hunched like this, in his seat like Mr. Cool Kid in high school. I thought he had the pack of cigarettes like right up here. He was just sitting there.
Well, he had just been bareback horse riding, shirtless.
You know what?
Through the snow before he got there.
And he's sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there knowing he's the man in charge. He's the man of the hour. And to just see him, kind of no mask.
Yeah.
Just kind of sitting there. And then you see Macron, just sweating bullets, masked up, thinking like, man, how am I going to handle the situation? It really just goes to show you we have a leader that missed an opportunity. He's missed a lot of opportunities. You've allowed the Europeans to come in and save a day when you're the one that really, truly messed up.
I think you're absolutely right. And I've said
it's
this.
so sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Pretty cynical, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, it's so true. It really is. I don't like to be this cynical about government. Even with presidents, I don't support their policies. You don't want to see it denigrate to this point where you're like a laughing stock. And I look, and that's why my Biden resignation theory, I still hold dear. He will not make it through to the midterms. He will either voluntarily step down because of health reasons. He'll be forced to behind the scenes to do so. And I'm reminded that there comes a time when it's apparent to everybody you can no longer do what you once did. In sports, I can remember the great Willie Mays ended up with the New York Mets. He had a fly ball was hit out to him. And he used to make the basket catch. He made one of the greatest catches in history during the 56 World Series. It's Vic Wertz hit a fly ball. It's part of history of icon of a catch. But simple fly ball, he stumbled in there, tripped over his own feet, dropped the ball. And it was just an old man out there doing it. Y.A. Tittle, same thing. They just stayed too long. Joe Biden is the political equivalent of that. He can no longer play the game. He can't play the game. He can't do it.
He physically and mentally cannot do it.
And so you say, do you continue to let him dig this hole, or do you show not only mercy to the man individually, but you cut your losses and get him out of there? Because what you have to bring in surely will be better than what you have now. Usually say, well, you don't know what you get. You get rid of Cuomo, there in New York. He's liberal, middle, but you don't know who you're going to get. You get this other governor that comes in that's worse, but you really, literally can't get worse than you have right now, Guillermo.
Well,
Kim,
I
agree.
That's my thought.
I agree too, but I think we got to remember the Democrats do have an insurance card out of the end of all this, and that is the fact that they can take him out, put Kamala Harris in, and I'm not sure who becomes the vice president. They get to choose.
Pelosi.
I thought it was, but I think they get to choose.
Well, harken back. Remember when Nancy Pelosi brought that 25th Amendment forward? They wanted to try to begin the process of making some alterations and some interpretations of exactly how far they could go. They put it before some judges, interpret this. And remember, she said this was not for Donald Trump. She made that say it was really odd occurrence. So I think that analysis has already been done, the 25th Amendment. See what would pass judicial scrutiny on what leeway they have and latitude to remove a president. And I think that his refusal to take that cognitive test, I think he will be forced to take that. And if he doesn't pass, he's going to fail it because they say it's pretty darn difficult. That's their out. He flunks that cognitive test. The doctor, the White House doctor, comes forward. He gets to leave not only with honor, he gets to leave with an explanation. Here's why I screwed things up. Here's why I said we're going to send 8,300 troops. And then the next day I tell someone at a town hall meeting that no troops are going there. That's not a caught on the hot mic. And that's what I think is going to happen. I don't see any way on this good earth he makes it through to the midterms. He'll completely bury the Democratic Party.
Yeah, well, I disagreed with your theory, and now that I disagreed with your theory last year when you were saying it, and I told you, and that's okay. We can have disagreements, but now I'm starting to come around, and I'm starting
open to the possibility.
I'm open to the possibility. I don't think it's going to happen before the midterm. Still, I think it's going to happen right after, because why are they going to get rid of him right before the midterms? It's not going to change what's coming. But you do it after the midterms because you're acknowledging to the American people, all right, fine. You guys we got ourselves handed to us. Oh, look, Joe Biden's sick. Well, why don't we bring in Kamala, and why don't we bring in someone likable as their as the vice president? That's their ultimate insurance card.
I think their reason they will do it before, I think they're saying to themselves, look, it's basically the suburban housewives and the independents that are going to determine this, as they always do, basically.
Yeah, agreed, yeah.
We're going to keep the woke far left, regardless of what Biden does. 56% of the Democrats think he's doing a great job. I mean, that just came out the other day. And I'm thinking they're saying, look, they're looking for a reason to not vote for either Trump or Ron DeSantis. If Biden is gone, they give a woman to rally around, woman of color to rally around. You get somebody in the vice presidential position that could say the craziness is kind of over, or have been greatly reduced, and you get some stability. They would think, some of them are thinking, that could be enough to sway some votes so we don't just get totally wiped out in the House and totally wiped out in the Senate, that we save a few seats that way.
Were you the person
I think that's what it's got down to.
I think you're right. That's a great analysis. Were you the one that said Harris Manchin? I
think that, but I don't Manchin would touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think it would be brilliant.
I'd be afraid of that. As a conservative, I would be afraid of it. Harris Manchin, I would not want to see.
I would not want to see. Yeah. Because it would.
I mean, if they put somebody in there that would come in and save the day, that is a little scary.
Yeah, it is. And the only person that could do that is Manchin.
And Manchin, because and he would get. I know where I was going with this, because he would also get some moderate Republican. Support. There would be people who say we owe this to Joe, and the Democratic Party has shown us they get it. No more, dying on the hill of critical race theory. No more dying on the hill of these big omnibus bills and spending trillions of dollars that we can't afford. All the stuff that he stood for, just common sense, centrist stuff. Yeah. Will that happen? I think the Democratic DNC would go for something like that. Even though it would tee off the woke left, I don't think Joe would touch that.
Well, I don't think they would either, because remember, the three of us.
Manchin would touch
the three of us are rational people. We're rational. When you get into politics, and especially on the left, and how progressive it has become, and how far left wing it has become they don't have these rational moments because they go down with, and you've met with you know a lot of people on the left where they know they're wrong, they know they're headed in the wrong direction, but damn it, they're gonna defend it no matter what.
Yeah. And they do.
Yeah,
too.
and what's the number one rule about if you're in the hole? I mean, you're stuck in the hole. What's the number one rule?
Don't ask for a bigger shovel.
Exactly. Stop digging. Stop digging.
But they continue doing that.
You know,
but Kim brought up a good point. They bring somebody in right now and put that individual in a position of power who is a normal Democrat.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, there's still enough stark differences between conservatives and traditional liberals, but I think it would not only send a message to and a sigh of relief to the Democratic Party, to the majority, but to the country, because we're dealing with absolute insanity.
Yeah.
With this agenda.
I mean,
that's
come
up
on,
there,
you guys know we've never seen anything like this ever.
Well, you know what it reminds me of?
Ever.
It reminds me of, and you guys watch Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a reference here, and we all love Beth, right?
Oh, Beth.
Remember
when? Gosh, I don't know, but I'm scared of
Remember when Beth sat down with the guy from Market Equities, and he pretty much said, "Hey, why don't you don't be poking the bear?
Yeah.
Don't be poking the bear." And she leaned over and said, "Hey, I'm the bigger bear." And it kind of reminds me of the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party is say, "Hey, don't poke us. We're the bear. We're the big bear." You know what I mean? Don't get us mad. But right now, don't forget who's the bigger bear, and that's the American people that are fed up with it.
I wonder where you were going with that, and I agree with you 100%.
I didn't want to throw out just a Beth, but you get what I'm saying? Because
absolutely,
because they're coming in here saying, "Hey, don't mess with us."
A classic example of that is playing out in Canada. That progression is exactly your analogy and metaphor is playing out. They kept on for years and decades. This guy Trudeau, basically, really dictatorial. You couldn't say just a strong prime minister. He was dictatorial, and time after time, taking away freedom after freedom, and finally he poked the truckers.
Yep.
And here you are. You know, and I happen to think, I think there's more danger of having an event that could really throw things into chaos and turmoil. It could be very, very devastating for the United States and Canada and the world. If something could go wrong in that blockade on that Ambassador Bridge, 1/3 of our trade comes through there in automotive parts and other essential needs. And that's getting real testy there. And I could see some kind of event happening there, either brought in by undercover folks coming in and stirring something up. But I'm puckered up on that thing, because that could happen and turn into something really ugly really fast.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think
Emotions are high. Emotions are
well,
really
you're talking
high.
about money. They're stopping. Factories are shutting down. Stores are shutting down. And then does Trudeau, is he so arrogant that he won't give in? Will he give in and listen to these threats? All they're asking, listen to what we're saying. Don't call us Islamophobic, racist and all of this stuff.
Misogynist.
Go down and talk. He holds the key. And I just worry about that situation more than I do the Ukraine and Russia.
That's got a direct impact on us.
Yeah.
I mean,
real quick, we got 41 seconds. Yes, so should Joe Rogan have apologized?
Never. No.
Kim, should he apologize for just having people on the show that disagreed with the government mandates on masks and such?
No.
I agree with that. I think it's unanimous.
It just too stirs the pot.
Never apologize if you truly think you're right.
Yeah. No.
Right?
If you think you're right, you don't apologize.
All right, folks, thank you.
Because then everybody else starts feeling that
That's
too.
exactly right. Folks, thank you so much for tuning on Free for All Friday. Guillermo, tip of the hat to you and the Spartans. Kim, we're with the Rams all the way on Sunday. God bless you. God bless America. Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. We'll get the blessing, do it again on Monday. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us, guys.
That was fun.